You're good.
Hello and welcome to Truth Tuesday. I'm Mark Grayless. We're glad you're tuned in with us today. We hope that we share something with you that can make a difference in your life. I want to address something by saying, how can we have a merry life in a Martha world? My wife's taught a class several times for ladies on that subject, and today I want to share the scriptures with that from Luke chapter 10, beginning at verse 38. As Jesus and his disciples were on his way, he came to a village where a woman named Martha opened her home to him. She had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he said. But Martha was distracted by all the preparations that had to be made. She came to him and asked, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me to do all the work by myself? Tell her to help me." "Martha, Martha," the Lord answered, "you are worried and upset about many things, but few things are needed, or indeed only one. Mary has chosen that what is better, and it will not be taken away from her." That's an interesting story, isn't it? Jesus came to their house, and Martha was the hostess, and she was busy doing all the work, preparing the meal, making sure everything was just perfect for Jesus. But Jesus probably was out in the courtyard or somewhere, and there he sat, people surrounding him, and right at his feet sat Martha's sister, Mary. And like most of us, Martha felt a little put out. So she came out and made it known to Jesus. "Hey, I've been in here working my tail off, and my sister's sitting right here, listening to you. She ought to be helping me too." But Jesus said something to her in those words: "Mary has chosen what is better." Life is full of choices about our time, about our influence, about what we do. And that's what I want to take a few moments to share about today, how that you could develop a merry heart in a Martha world. I don't know how many times people come to me and say, "I don't have time," or "You just don't know how busy I am." The world is truly a busy place. It seems like even with all the helps we have, we just seem to rush, rush, rush everywhere. And it's been a hard thing for me to do, is to sit down and take life easy, to begin somewhat of a semi-retirement. I was used to working 50 to 55 hours a week for 40 plus years. And now that I'm a part-time person, sometimes it's just hard to pull away and say, "Hey, I can't," or "I'm not able to do that." And I know you face many of the same issues in your life, with your family, with the church, with schools, with your job. So many things are always pulling and tugging at you, wanting to take care of your time or to take up your time. But today I want to share some things with you that can probably be a help to you about getting your priorities straight, about getting yourself a timeline that not only allows you to honor God, but allows you to enjoy life, enjoy your family, and other activities. Mary was concerned, first of all, about her spiritual well being. Here she had an opportunity to have the number one teacher, the greatest teacher who ever existed, in her home. And as he talked, she sat down to listen, to take care of those spiritual things. And that should be one of the number one priorities in our life. I know for myself, I take a few moments each morning to read the Sportsman's Devotional and take a few minutes to pray and to ask God to be a part of my life and to do things in other people's lives. And priority should be, number one, the spiritual, whether it's on Sunday morning or every morning of our life, is to realize that everything we do in this world has spiritual consequences that have something to do with a God, our creator, and our sustainer and our savior. Keeping that in mind. We need to keep family in order too. Our families get so busy. Our kids are going here and there, and we have this league we're a part of, or we're part of this homeschool group, or we're part of a group at a regular school, or just a neighborhood get together. We find ourselves very, very busy. So one of the things that we really need to concentrate on is keeping our family time in order. Keeping God first, our family second, because so many things encroach and choke out the life of our family. Work, The Bible tells us if we don't work, we shouldn't eat. And that's just part of life. Going to our workplace, investing our time and energy into our vocation or our trade. Those are important things to do, but lots of times when the phone rings and says, hey, can you work an extra double today? Maybe you need to stay home and do something else. Keep it in perspective of your life, both spiritually and physically. And then we need to have time to have fun. And it seems like our whole world revolves around getting together to have fun, and it's not a bad thing. But here's two things I want to share with you, no matter which area of your life it falls into, is to say no. We need to learn that we can say no, both to our kids. I know in our house, we told our kids that they could be in one major activity at a time. Because when I was in ministry, I had so many people pulling at me, I didn't have time to be at two or three different ball games or a different dance recital all in the same day. I only had so many minutes and so much of myself to spread outside of my ministry. And I learned to say no. It's important that we do that because it's not going to make a lot of difference in a kid's life whether they play one sport or two sports. It's so important to keep those things in perspective. Learn to balance things, balance faith, balance your work, balance your family. One of the things I try to do in ministry is to keep schedules that keep things in balance. Before COVID, I did a men's group, and that men's group met after little kids went to bed. It met at 8:30 on a weeknight, so Dad could be home to help put his grade school kids in bed. And those group of guys, if they wanted to stay around and talk to 10 o'clock, they could do that. But their obligation to home and family was already in place. So we need to be aware that there are ways and techniques and tactics that we can use to keep things in order. We all enjoy working. Martha was a worker, but she let her work snuff out an opportunity to learn something from the Lord. I want to encourage you, begin to get your priorities straight about God and family and work and fun. Because when we get our priorities straight, everything else seems to fall in place and one's not choking the other out. You can live a Mary life in a Martha world by making a diligent effort to set your priorities straight. Have a good day, and thanks for listening in to Truth